Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and this is day 14 of 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life, Series 17. And today's exclusive sketch is by Miss Carrie's Creation. You can find her here on YouTube. And these are the pictures I'm going to document. Two little pictures of my son looking at a globe, and I'm going to use Where To Next by Vicki Boutin because I thought it was pretty appropriate. I knew I had this globe with this collection, so I wanted to go ahead and pull this out. I've got the project pad, the 12 by 12 paper pad, some loose papers. I have the 6x8 paper pad, some scraps. I've got embellishments, puffies, stickers, all the things, chipboard. I'm going to try and get some of these things used up on here. So I have my papers, I have my embellishments, I have my pictures, and this fun sketch. So let's see how this goes. So first things first, I have this scrap already that has a circle cut out of it, so I'm going to use that as my base. I think this mat looks like it has got a mat around, this layout looks like it's got a mat around it. And so I have this striped mat that's got going for the colors. Because I knew I'd be using that globe and it was that aqua color, I wanted to kind of lean into that. So I pulled this map paper that's aqua, as well as that striped paper to mat the whole layout, and then this grid paper to go in the back. I have a ton of paper to go with this collection, and so I figured this was a great way to use up 2 full sheets plus a partial and a 6x8 paper pad sheet. So I get the grid paper matted down, and then I put this map paper, and it's kind of hard to see right here, but there is a drawn map on there, and actually part of what's on there is Africa. You're not gonna be able to see it when the layout is done. It is kind of buried behind the picture. It's fine. I know where their dad was, and that's all that matters. It'll be in the journaling later when I actually get to that. I do take the 6x8 paper pad with this really, really cute, I love this paper. And I just cut the little tag notch out of the top on one side and then flap the piece over so I know that it's pretty even. And then cut the other corner. And then I cut it off and tuck it, they leave like an 1.5 inch gap because I want it to be a little taller than the 8 inches that it is. And then I'm going to use the picture to cover up most of that gap, and then a little journaling tag to cover up the rest. And I do love the way that that turns out. I mapped my 2 pictures. I trimmed them down pretty good. They're like 3.25 by 5. Because I didn't need all that mess in the background. I don't mind that you can see like the stacks of clothes behind him because it kind of gives you a little bit of the story, because we were having a garage sale when this happened in our front yard. So there was like a whole table of clothes. And I mean, tons of other things, but the only thing in the picture is clothes. So it kind of leads to the story. And I will write a little of that story on this journaling card that I put on here, but I'm going to do it off camera because their dad was deployed, and, I typically don't write a lot of the details about that kind of stuff, to where the whole world can see it. So I am going to work on the little banner at the top. Now, the banner on the sketch goes from the top right corner to the top right, or the top left of the big tag. But because what I'm going to use to make my little banner is these black arrows, because I kind of thought that kind of went along with everything, and then these cute little hearts. I didn't want it to go to the banner, or to the top of that tag, I mean. So I make it go from over here close to the left side, and then just go from there. And then I don't want it to be symmetrical necessarily. I kind of want it to be willy-nilly wonky because, well, first of all, I'm willy-nilly wonky and I don't want to be that particular. So I put little hearts down here. I do a heart and then a dot and then a heart. And I change the shape and the color of the hearts just so it's kind of flowy. And then I had to trim a little off of the end of this arrow, right, the last one, because it wasn't going to fit. And so I want to make sure that it fit right up to that corner. And I love the way that it turns out. Then I'm going to put these little banners up here in the top left corner as the sketch calls for. And then I thought I might put more on top of that black paper, but really I didn't want to cover too much of it up. I love that paper. And in the sketch, there's, other than the banner, there's not really anything covering it either. So I kind of leave it alone. I'm going to put a couple little things over in that area right above the hello journaling space. But for the most part, my cluster is going to go in that bottom right corner. And then I've got some wordy bits I add on here, and I cluster some words over by that hello. Just because I don't mind using words to document and to decorate. And there are a lot of words that were in this collection that were pretty fitting. One of them said here, one says moments, take note. One of them says the sweetest, one says another story, and one says discovery. And then I use this little thing that says world traveler because their dad was definitely traveling the world. He was in more than a few different places during his time in the service. And so Jameson was looking at this globe and wanted to know where he was. Well, wanted to know where his dad was. So I pointed it out, and then he wanted to know where he was. And so he was it looks a whole lot better when you're looking at a round globe that you can hold in your hand and you're only 4 inches away from, or 6 inches away from your dad. Like, that's better than the actual being on the other side of the world kind of thing. So it was just really cute because it kind of made him feel better because it didn't seem that far away because it's just in this ball, on the other side. So it was really cute. Luckily, his dad was coming home like a week or so after this, so that worked out really well. But he didn't know that because he came home early and we surprised him and his sister. So that was fabulous. But anyway, that is really about all. Like I said, built some clusters. I'll do journaling later off camera at the end of the month after I do my layout share. But I'd build that cluster with the globe and some words, put a little bit of gold in a few different places, and call it done. This sketch is one of those, and a lot of them are like that this month, where I feel like you have a lot of flexibility to go all out or kind of rein it in and keep it super simple. I kind of went a little bit in between, which I'm pretty good at, changing a few things up. I do love the way that it turned out. I love the colors because this collection's got lots of teals and happy colors that make me very, very happy. And of course I got another memory documented, so I love that. I hope you will go and check out all the other people who are hopping along with 30 Days of Sketches. There is a playlist. I would love it if you give me a thumbs up if you like my video and or my layout. And I would also love it if you'd subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you'll come back and see me again. Plans to be here every day this month, so fingers crossed. And I hope you have a great day. Hope you had a chance today to do something you love with someone you love, and happy scrapping.